The B-52's are an American new wave band that formed in Athens, Georgia in 1976. Love Shack is the band's most successful single and remains an iconic anthem since its 1989 release. Love Shack helps us understand LGBT+ film history through the historical context of the AIDS pandemic and acts as a precursor to the emergence of the queer rom-com of the 1990s, with the influences of a camp aesthetic and visible LGBT+ artist representation. The historical context of 1989 is important to understanding the relevance of Love Shack as an LGBT+ film text. Prior to the video's release, the band lost guitarist Ricky Wilson to the AIDS crisis in October of 1985. The remaining members mourn the loss of their bandmate by committing their time to be advocates in AIDS activism, producing a public service announcement for the Foundation for AIDS Research in 1987. Their return to music came with their 1989 album, Cosmic Thing, and Love Shack became the band's biggest hit, which was made in Ricky's honor. Love Shack, acting as a precursive text to 1990s queer rom-com cinema, can be centered around the analysis of the meaning of love within a new queer framework. Scholar Derek King's article unpacks the new queer cinema subunit as a utopian future of eternal love, effectively breaking the stereotypical tropes of burying your gaze or unhappy endings for queer characters. He poses the question of, but what if we understand love not as a retreat from the world, but rather the radical utopian commitment to make a new world? This can be answered by the B-52's, as Love Shack's explicit message is a celebration of love in a space that is inclusive, safe, and fun. The video reveals people of all ages, appearances, and identities dancing fluidly together. Philosopher Alain Badiou understands 90s queer rom-com cinema by viewing love as a construction that must triumph lastingly, sometimes painfully, over the hurdles erected by time, space, and the world. And bandmate Cindy Wilson's comments on Love Shack parallels Badiou's classifications by saying, "It was really ironic that Love Shack, which is one of the happiest songs and our most successful, came out of a time of real despair, highlighting the impact of the AIDS crisis that became a force in celebrating love and cultivating joy." Visually, Love Shack is an LGBT+ film text as it displays camp aesthetics and LGBT+ representation. Camp is defined as a means to transform the ordinary into something more spectacular. Clothes and decor, for example, can be a means of asserting one's identity, as well as a form of justification in a society which denies one's essential validity. Since they formed in 1976, the B-52's have committed to 1960s hairstyles and bold color-blocked looks, refusing to conform with current trends and social standards. Their rejection encourages diversity and inclusion of the weird and socially outcast, which has resonated with LGBT+ audiences. Beyond clothes, the use of humor within bizarre situations and examples of a wig flying, the bathtub sequence, and the line dance can be read as a line of camp in the video, as unafraid to be expressive and be seen. LGBT+ representation is subconsciously present in the video. 3 of the 4 remaining members of the band identify as part of the LGBT+ community. RuPaul famously makes her television debut in the video, leading the line dance beautifully in drag. And the shack that the music video was filmed was built, decorated, and owned by ceramic artists and lovers Philip Marbury and Scott Walker. The display of LGBT+ artists in the video conclude the group's message that the Love Shack is a space for love in all forms, including those of LGBT+ identities. Overall, Love Shack by the B-52's is an LGBT+ film text because it represents utopian love, as modeled by the 1990s queer rom-com cinema, and celebrates this love with a camp aesthetic and visible LGBT+ member representation, all to act as a source of joy for the community amidst the AIDS crisis.